Hey everybody, and welcome back to Farmboy's Garage. We are in the shop today. Again, the shop's a little dark. I don't have all my lights up yet, but today we're working on I believe it's a 2009 Kia Sorento, and the issue is when you start it up, the starter wants to stay engaged, and of course, when you put it in reverse or drive, the neutral safety interlock kicks the starter out. So every time you go neutral or park, it re-engages. You can wiggle the key and get it to quit, but it won't normally do that. So the issue is the ignition switch has got particles breaking down inside of it, and it's making contact when it shouldn't be. So we need to replace the ignition switch, and to do that, we have to drop the steering wheel to get on the dash. So on these Kia Sorentos and a lot of other Hyundais and Kias, the switch is actually in the dash. It's not in the steering column. But to access it, you need to remove all this panel and remove the knee bolster up on there to drop the steering wheel down to get to it. Here's what the switch looks like. The switch is going to have a plug in the back, and the back of the key thing attaches to it and actually turns it when you turn the key. I'm assuming this has got some kind of locking mechanism that keeps it in the back, but we'll figure it out when we get down there. So I looked on YouTube, and it was not really a good video on how to do this. It was like a slideshow with music that was very annoying. So I'm going to just attempt to do it myself and bring y'all along. But I know we got to get this bottom panel off. We got to take the side panel off to get to a screw here. First thing I want to do, of course, is to disconnect the battery so that we don't accidentally set off this airbag. So let's do that first. Alright, so we'll just disconnect this negative terminal right here. I believe it's going to be a 10 millimeter. Just loosen it up and pull it off. And that should be good to deactivate everything. All right, the first thing I think we're going to want to do is take out this screw here and this screw over here. We got an airbag here we're going to have to deal with, and we also have a hood release here. We're going to have to deal with that, and then the switch up here. This is a 4-wheel drive model, and we've got to get this cover off. So I'm going to deal with these two screws, and I'll bring you back. All right, next I'm going to attempt to pry off this side metal piece and get a light where you can see. I'm just going to use this plastic pry bar to start with. That don't work. Can't do it real. All right, so I'm going to just try to use this plastic pry bar. If that don't work, we'll go with metal. I don't think it's going to work. I think I'm going to have to go in here. Let's see if we can go in here with this cat claw here. Alright, we'll just pry it off. Try not to break stuff. I hear stuff breaking. Alright, that means we break one. I see some stuff laying in the floor right here. Alright, we got to remove this screw right here and this screw right here. Okay, with those two screws removed, you can pop the top loose right here, and we can access the switches in here. They just clip in, so we'll clip them out, unplug them. Have to watch that little tilt lever. The bottom of this does go into this piece here, so it's not going very far. So I don't think we have to remove the seal plate, but we'll wait and see. And then we'll try to pop out the other side and see how that works. Okay, right here at the hood release, you're going to pull this back. There's two screws here we got to take out and get this out of our way. Once you undo the screws from the hood release, it'll just come down. Here's the screws, what they look like. There's Phillips head, little bolts. Now we need to get we can pull down this, give you some room, but you can see there's that connector for the computer I forget the name of this thing. It's in here, so we got to figure out how to get it out. I'll bring you back when I figure that out. All right, so I hadn't undone the connector down there for the computer, the ODB2 connector. I think what I can do is go ahead and pop this loose up here. Or maybe not. I don't see any more screws in this area. That's what I'm thinking. It'll go, but I'm not sure about it. Yeah, there's something holding this together right here. All right. On that other video I was referring to, they said you had to take the seal plate off in this, but you don't. This thing just barely sticks down in that hole. So you can pry it up. I mean, that's all there is to it. You can pry it up and get it out of the hole once you get everything on this side loose. And I just unplugged these switches and left them in. This one switch, the second one in, is a little bit pain to get to. It's a blue switch connector. Get my light fixed. Come on, light. That blue switch connector there. There is. It don't look like there's a lock mechanism to it, but they are. Get my hand on it. It's this right in the middle right here. Just push it down. What I did is I took my needle nose and I hooked my needle nose around it, and then just took something and pushed that in and it pulled out. It's hard to get your fingers in there because this one is so much higher than that one. Alright, still working on getting the rest of this off. Alright, so I figured out this up here, you can pry it off. It will come off. Alright, there's two clips up here at the top. It's kind of, I probably had this steering wheel in the tilt position. I probably should have let it down, but now it'd be a lot easier to get to this data link connector if you wanted to take it off, but I think I'm just going to leave it on there, see how that works. And also, see, I left these switches on here. And now I think we got to pull off this black part here and the airbag. The airbag connectors, that yellow connector right there, to get the airbag out, and then we can drop this steering column down, I believe. I did take this off because it said to in that video, but I don't know why, so I don't think you have to. To remove this black bolster panel, you have to take this off because it goes up inside of it. So to get that off, looks like 3 Phillips heads. We'll take the bottom of this cover off. It should be good. We can get that out. That's Phillips heads. All right. Unfortunately, I was hoping we would not have to take this off, but get just the right angle on this thing. All right, we'll pull this off, maybe. Maybe. Oh, I know that flooded jaw light, didn't it? There she goes. Alright, so I guess you do have to take that off because you got to slide this off the tilt thing. So yes, that piece does have to come off. And now that thing just fell out. If I'd done that to start with, but you can see this part here, it extends up in here, so you can't get that out with that other end. The airbag, I can see, actually I might not even have to take all that out. I can see the ignition switch right here. Give you a little view of it. So what we're after is down there on the end of this, all this mess here, that little white part right there. So if we can wiggle that plug out and figure out how this thing attaches,
we can't take this out because that bolt there's, it's a one-way bolt. You have to drill it out. So we're not going to take that off. I'm hoping we can get to it without all that. So I'm gonna stick my hand back in there and see what I can figure out, and I'll let you know how, if we have to go further than this. Okay, just because I need more room, I'm gonna go ahead and take this airbag off. It's held on by that nut there. There's a nut over here, a nut here, and a nut here. And it should come off, and then we should have all the room we need. I don't think we'll have to drop the steering column at all to get this, hopefully. All right, with the airbag out, we've got plenty of room to reach up in here and attempt to get this off. I don't know exactly how all that goes. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of experimenting to see how that thing attaches. Alright, so I did manage, I got the plug unplugged, but there's definitely something holding it in. I think it's a screw in the top. So we are going to have to drop the column, and I'm thinking we're going to have to get these two back here and these two up here. I done got one, and there should be one more on the other side here to get, this whole thing should drop down. So I'll go ahead and get these two back here. I don't know if y'all can see where they at back there. These are 12 millimeters. All right, so we can see on top there, I believe that's a screw that's in the back side right here. I'm not sure what kind it is, but we're going to assume it's a Phillips right now. I may have to stick a camera in there and take a picture of it. I hope y'all can see it. It was a Phillips head, so let me get my light back up here. Maybe you can see a little better. So I've got it loose, and I'm going to try to just pull it back. And we'll see that this thing was kind of 90 degrees. It also looks like it's wore out a little good bit in there. And there's the screw right there. So we're going to set this next one up to be exactly the same. It'll go in. I've got the key in there. It's in the off position. We'll get the screw started and we'll just put it back. All right, so I've got the switch in. I went ahead and plugged it up. It's a lot easier to do it here. And now we'll just go back and put these two nuts on the front. I mean, two bolts in the front. These two are bolts. The back ones are nuts. We'll get this bolted back up. I also took off the interlock safety cable. I didn't show that, so I'll try to show it when I put it back. All right, so this neutral safety interlock cable, it goes up in here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this and hold the camera at the same time, but then you got this little yellow clip here. This cable goes into it, and the clip goes inside the switch, and then you got a little cover right here, a little clear cover. It's got 3 screws. I'll show you what it looks like when I get it up there. I can't hold the camera and do it at the same time. Alright, so here it is, back together. That's a little bit of a trick to get that everything in there and hold it while you put that little cover on. I dropped it several times, but it's there. So now we're ready to reinstall the airbag and the knee bolster, or the bolster up here, and get this bottom back on here. I'm not going to video all this because you see, we took it off. It's pretty easy to come back with it. I'll bring you back when we get done. All right, moment of truth. Oh yeah, much better, much better. Let's take this old one. I can find what to do with it, and we'll look at it. So here's the old one, and somebody took one of these apart. I seen on video, and the inside was breaking down where the brass was. I'm not going to take this apart because I'm ready to get this car back, but I can definitely tell. I don't know if y'all can tell. It definitely had some wire on it. This keyway was wiring out. That may have been an issue right there. That thing's supposed to not have that big gap in it right there. So anyway, if you're having a problem with your Kia, hope this helps you out. And remember, you don't have to do everything you see on YouTube. You'll figure it out. If it helps, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you hadn't, and thanks for watching.